are recording and yeah, as I was just saying, my shower curtain is a big picture of Joe Dolio because it's the only way I can get into the scary water without scaring myself is knowing that Joe is there to rescue me. And with that entrance, where are you going, Ron? Ron's leaving.
Be right back. Be
Ron's
right
embarrassed.
back.
Ron's going to check his shower curtain. He wants to make sure his Dolio curtain's ready.
No,
Anyway,
I just had to get some papers.
not that we haven't been kind of just going there anyway, but are we further now going into World War III with the Air Mobility Command removing tail numbers? And I say this as someone that knows jack shit about anything, and I'm wearing slippers, and I feel like that I need to disclaim that whenever I talk about the military, just to show just how little I know. Is I'm sitting here trying to dictate. I'm sitting here as Eisenhower, but I'm in slippers and don't know anything. With that, so Joe, are we heading face first into World War III?
Oh, absolutely. I think that every single day we get a little bit closer, and there's literally no one pumping the brakes, right? In fact, they've cut the brake line and removed the handbrake. They just want to keep going.
All right, Ron.
Yeah. Well, I just think, I certainly hope not. But I think what's happening is that the people, quote unquote, in charge in Washington are they're being lapped on a daily basis by other world players and world events, and General Minahan's idea, approval of this idea to remove tail numbers and unit info from their aircraft. Air Force aircraft would have a two-letter code, big letter, and you could to tell by that which base they were from. I mean, it's like it's a part of unit pride. Um, is sort of like really because we're going on what is it? What does he say? We do sensitive movements of cargo. Well, dude, a battle gray C-130J, it only comes from one place. And yeah, it's like, give me a break. And it still has the Air Force symbol on it, and the American flag. So it's like you're not really hiding anything. And of course, Minahan's not, I don't think he's a serious commander anyways. I mean, let's go back to his earlier memo to the troops. Hey, we're going to go to war with China here, and everybody needs to go out and practice and fire a 7-round clip. Well, if you're
We
going to
haven't
be,
used a sidearm that has a 7 round magazine for 20 something years.
I
I'm
know,
just going to say.
I, I'm just going. If you think 7 rounds is going to suddenly make you some sort of, cross between John Wayne and Rambo, and you're going to be able to repel borders when the Chi-Coms come, over the Hickam perimeter, and with their, Space Marines or Chi-Com Marines or whatever the hell they are this week. Yeah, you're seriously deluded there, General, and your people are not going to take you seriously.
Joe.
But I digress.
Well, that entire memo was nothing but ridiculousness. Um, 7 rounds into the face. The 45 ACP hasn't been used in military service forever, so we don't have anything with 7 round magazine. And shooting people in the face under combat is actually a stupid idea because I'd rather hit them in the body, a little less likelihood of missing. I mean, he's kind of an alarmist. And I pointed out that this will actually put people more at risk rather than less at risk because there's going to be unmarked aircraft landing in airfields. If I'm the Russians and I see that, I'm like, well, I'm just going to shoot it down because I don't know what it is. Um, as opposed to it being clearly marked as what it is, and it's from you look at it, and it's from the Wisconsin National Guard. You're going to realize there's not about to be 15 Navy SEALs running out of the back of that, right? It's probably a pallet of cheese, right? So I think that it's just one more thing, and I hate to do this because Ron's an Air Force veteran, but it's one more example of the Air Force trying to be warriors and not really understanding what that
War.
means. Yeah,
Well,
they're
it's
fantastic in their domain, but the other domains not so.
well, very true. Especially Air Mobility Command. I mean, the Uber drivers of the Air Force. So
Right? Great bunch of guys. Anytime there's a really good fight, they give us a ride.
That's
So,
right. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times when my son, who just left the 82nd Airborne, when he had to jump out of a plane from, a C-130 or a C-17, and either the air guard or the regular or the reserve crew, educate them on jump master protocols and how to do things and who's in charge of the jump and who the airborne commander is and that sort of thing. And yeah, there's a lot of load masters that are living on borrowed time. But I digress.
So I guess my only question is he said this 34 days ago that we're going to be at war with China, or whenever he said it. If that wasn't sanctioned or approved, wouldn't he have been sacked like the next day?
No, he's still in command.
Well, that's what I mean. So regardless if this was a blunder or whatever, he wasn't removed, which means that someone
well, I
sanctioning
think
this,
that
they're
that
okay
cat's
with
out of the
it.
bag.
Okay.
Yeah, that cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows we're going to war with China. It's just a matter of when. There's actually at this point no way to avoid some sort of an armed clash between the two, and he may just. I'm going to tell you, he's overly optimistic on his timing. I don't think it'll take that long. But I mean, that's why he's not fired, because everyone knows it's going to happen.
Well, I'm just waiting for the Chinese Air Force, the People's Republic of China Air Force, to airdrop food to the gallant Taiwanese defenders of the Matsu Islands, which are literally you can throw a rock and hit mainland China from the islands. So, because they're starving, because the Taiwanese are unable or unwilling to resupply them with food. So,
Same with the Kinmans. I mean, they're right. The Kinmen Island is 6 miles from China,
yep.
150 from Taiwan. And Taiwan doesn't want to, in their defense, they don't want to be seen flying anything in that general direction.
Or even just a ship. I mean, just sending a vessel there with food. And I may have gotten my islands groupings mixed up, but it's the ones to the northwest.
They're both right there.
Yeah. Okay, all right, thank you. But Tommy, I think while we're all focused on the bright shiny ball that is the coming war between us and mainland China, is there's other balls that are other in the black room of world that are about to smack us upside the head. Iran could go nuclear or declare a nuclear breakout any moment, or be suspected of it by the Israelis, and the Israelis will wait about 3 milliseconds before they launch in a counterstrike.
There's
or
some interesting rumors flying about that right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. And and then of course we got this.
Where is General?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ron.
No.
Go
Please.
Go ahead.
I was going to
say, where is General Milley today?
God damn it! We both. Joe, shut up. Ron, finish your point.
No. I don't have
Ron,
no clue
I'm in charge. Finish the point.
Well, and then of course you got Ukraine and you got Mexican cartels that are basically controlling pretty much 80% of Mexican population centers, and the government is inept. But and this is right on our southern border, and we have a major failed state on our southern border that is accelerating not just an invasion of people from everywhere, not just Mexico and Latin America, but everywhere. And how some of these people can get that far from where they started, I have no clue, but good on them. And the fentanyl. I mean, there's enough fentanyl crossing the border monthly, weekly, daily that, my God, what are we, it's the China, and we know where this fentanyl is manufactured, but we just turn a blind eye to this. And I don't get it. I don't get, while there's no my kingdom for an honest law enforcement officer of seniority in DC who actually says enough is enough. We're failing in our mission to protect the homeland, to protect the United States of America.
Yeah.
Joe.
So I was just so excited with what Ron said that I had to jump on there. Where is General Milley today? Well, he's in Israel. And he's trying to convince the Israelis not to launch a raid on the Iranian nuclear program. That's the story that we're getting. So it's entirely possible that you see some Israeli-Iranian action this week. and not the kind that Tommy usually pays extra for on OnlyFans.
I have a premium membership. Thank you. The
Okay.
state sets
All right.
aside money to
But-
give porn entertainment to retards like me, so I don't actually have to pay for it. You're paying for it. I just have to wear a helmet and put a pencil in my mouth so I don't bite my tongue off.
But there is
Thanks, Ron.
that possibility this week. So I would watch for something along those lines. And Ron's 100% right on it. Iran, once they get a nuclear weapon, they're not the type to keep it as a defensive tool.
No,
it just doesn't fit with their worldview and their mindset. So that is something to be worried about and a big concern. The other one is this just insistence that we assist Ukraine in the self-immolation of their nation. They're at a point where they really can't hold back the tide. Russia's about to unleash everything on them, and there's not going to be much that Ukraine can do on its own. So we have to ask ourselves some questions about what's the real plan here and what's the global order going to do on that. Every time you see the words global order, you need to be suspicious anyway.
Mhm.
But what's going to come of that, and what's going to come of the China, Russia, Iran, North Korea alliance? And then Ron touched on the other big thing, and man, spot on, exact same idea, the failed state to our south. That's actually a part of the Chinese 1,000-year plan or 100-year plan they have to defeat us, is the failed state of Mexico. They've done everything they can to make it a failed state and everything they can to support MS-13, M18, and all of the cartel activity that's going on. They're essentially using MS-13 as military contractors to push the fentanyl into the U.S. and throughout it. If you look at every city where there's an MS-13 presence in America, it's off of a freeway that connects eventually to the southern border. And they control all those ports. A company named Hutchison used to be called Hutchison Whampoa. They dropped the Whampoa, so it didn't sound so Chinese, but it is Chinese owned. And they own all the ports on that Pacific coast and moving drugs through it like crazy. So there's a lot more going on in the world that you need to worry about than the big shiny objects.
Episode 279 of this podcast, Ben Westhoff, author of Fentanyl Inc. That book is probably the best in-depth find you'll get of fentanyl and just exactly what it is and how it is a perfect weapon. Yeah, I feel like it does kind of feel like the thing we all read in our social studies books in 5th grade about like the powder keg of the Balkans in 1914. It does kind of feel like we're just inching closer and closer. I guess the bingo comes from where's it going to hit? Do we want our money on attack nuclear strike in Kyiv, China invasion of Taiwan, Israel just raping Iran? Where's it going to be? Like, what's going to be the bingo card?
Jeez. Well, yeah,
it's fascinating.
But, here's the thing. So you have our, worldly, knowledgeable, well-respected Secretary of State Tony Blinken, Blinky, making profound statements like, "Don't you dare send weapons and aid and assistance, China, to Russia. Don't you dare do." And we're just blatantly doing it left and right. I mean, we have no moral standing, and plus, as Joe alluded to, we're not doing anything to stop this. I mean, there is not a Western effort, EU, NATO, United States effort to like say, "Hey guys, ready, break, ceasefire in place. Let's figure this out. Let's negotiate," because nobody's winning this thing, and it's just going to get worse, and everybody's suffering. So let's try to get some peace here. Yeah, I'm just saying that usually when there's a conflict somewhere in the world that the United States has an interest in, whether we actually do or whether we just put our nose into somebody's business, is like we try to ameliorate the situation. And I'm sorry, is that a big word for you? Ameliorate? I'll try to use a small. Okay. All right, just making sure.
Didn't she crash her plane when she flew over the ocean?
Stop it.
You said ameliorate, and he said all he heard was areola.
I heard Amelia Earnhardt. I was trying to make a history joke there. I'm trying to teach people, Joe. Jesus.
Oh God.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Well, yeah, Mr. Bunny Slippers.
Yeah, right. Hey, these aren't bunny slippers. I should get some bunny slippers though. I wonder if Playboy will sponsor me because no one else will sponsor me because I'm just sitting out here making an ass of myself. They might categorize it as fucking yourself.
Well, anyways, but you get my point that we're not doing anything to calm down the situation. We're just keep throwing gasoline into the fire.
Well, I think at a certain
Yeah,
point,
there are no Paris peace talks.
no, but I think at a certain
But
point you have to look at it. And it's like, when there's a a Democratic mayor of whatever city and it's been fucked for 80 years, and you go, don't the people know that? And it's like, they're not helping it out. It's like, well, of course they're fucking the city because they want people to vote for welfare. Like, they're not stupid. They know they're not incompetent. This is their plan. So when I see all
You
this
mean like
happening,
Atlanta?
like
Nice
Atlanta, I
segue.
live there. Yes. Yes. So I look at this now and I'm like, yeah, I don't think by no means do I think they're geniuses, but I also don't think this is an accident. When it's like, doesn't anyone realize we're hurtling towards World War III? Yes, that's what they put in the GPS waypoint. Of course, that's where we're going. It's like what Brian
yeah,
Reagan
yeah.
said about, or what Ron White said about, the engines falling off the plane. Where do you think it's going? Well, directly to the scene of the crash, which is convenient, right? We're going to beat the EMTs by a half hour. That's where it's going. Where's the bullet going to go? Probably where it was aimed. I'm not saying it's good. It just seems like, hey, man, we're aiding Ukraine. We're getting all of NATO to aid Ukraine. And then we're saying, Russia, don't you dare take aid from China, and vice versa. If it's that
And
apparent, and
we're aiding Ukraine with using drawdown authority to like say, hey, we're just going to take away all your this type of vehicle. We're going to take away this ammo supply and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not enough ammunition in the United States Army to properly train our guys when they go out into the field. They have to conserve ammo. They can't really do a robust training like they used to.
so
They
then
they
even
have
that
they
could
they
be of
have
the
they're
that
losing
could be the
vehicles.
that could be the purpose too. Then, right? If we're just dissolving our southern border, raping the dollar through inflation, and then selling off our strategic oil reserve, that all goes in line with a controlled demolition or at least weakening of the United States. And it's a
It is a
conspiracy.
controlled devolution.
Just
And what stopped the Great Depression? Massive government spending due to World War II.
yeah,
Um, that's when we started making up money and just pretending that the problem wasn't there anymore.
yeah.
And that's kind of where we are right now,
That's
right? We want to
exactly where we're
control the
going.
crash so we could point and go, this is all Vladimir Putin's fault.
That's exactly what we're doing. We're heading directly into World War III. And it's not an accident. It's not that they're idiots. They know exactly where we're going. That's the point, dipshit.
Yeah, and we have a legislative branch in DC that is 99% on board with, hurling to the abyss, because they don't because hey, I got mine, and and they don't see the end result because they're not the great statesmen that they think they are. So,
Then what
uh-oh.
is then what is the actual value then of something like, because even that, right, removing tail numbers, that too just seems like an obvious, like, we're goading into war. Of course we want to.
That's 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 all kabuki theater. The general's trying to pretend I'm doing something to be proactive to get my command ready, and it's not going to do a damn thing. You know, I mean, these aircraft have transponders. Every airbase has plane watchers that, retirees that have nothing better to do but to go out and look at airplanes flying to and fro and off and on and things like, and they post this stuff on social media. Like, you're not gaining anything. So, you know, C-130 Juliet tail number XYZ has left. Okay, great. I don't have the cargo manifest. I mean, I think security is at least that good, but it doesn't make any difference. And suddenly you're taking away unit pride. I mean, you know, if you watch the movie Top Gun Maverick, the latest iteration, you'll notice that when they actually fly the mission, they take off all their patches except for their rank patches and their name tag identifying them. But they take off all their unit stuff. You'll notice the empty Velcro thing, and that's SOP. But because that's just what the Navy does, and that's what aviators do, including the Air Force and stuff like that. But tail numbers, I mean, geez, or tail markings, identifiers, you still got to have an FAA type serial number on the aircraft. I mean, you can't get away from that. It still has to have some sort of registered license plate, if you will, for the airplane. But I mean, a KC-135, a KC-46, C-130s, KC-10s. I mean, there's only, we're the only ones that really fly all those, except for the C-130 Juliet. And a tanker aircraft is obviously a military airplane. It's not like hey, United Airlines, we're gonna refuel in midair while we go trans world, continental, global, whatever. It's like, yeah, give me a break. I mean, you're not doing anything. It's all kabuki theater.
So
It's an optic to look more warlike and look like a warrior about to go into battle. It's just
Ugh.
it actually serves no real purpose.
no, it doesn't, and I completely get and agree with what you're both saying. There is no real thing. That being said, there is a reason they're doing it, and that's what I'm trying to get to. Is
Well,
what
yeah, it's to get the American public to the point where they realize that a war is coming.
and that's
It's
my
a
point.
preparation of the public
And
more
that's
than anything
so
else.
that's what I'm getting to is like what is this? I know it's not what it seems. So I'm just trying to what is the bigger picture? And it's not Biden, not I don't give a fuck. It's what is the entrenched power structure doing? And it seems to be disseminating to the public consciousness, just getting it out there like China bad, China bad. And didn't the Senate just all vote unanimously to declassify all the US intel on where COVID came from? That's conveniently coming out like the same week Xi and Putin meet and say they're gonna have a military technical alliance. Like you can see all the pieces just kind of coming. You ever watch like a slow mo video of an explosion and then they reverse it and all the pieces start flying back together and you just see them like
Yeah.
pieces of shrapnel hitting the ground and they all come back perfectly. Like we're watching that. We're watching all the pieces just flying together perfectly. And it's just slow motion. And it's like,
Well, my
it's just a
question
weird.
is,
Yeah.
what are they going to do for all of the people? What do they do for all the people they fired or canceled or destroyed their YouTube channel or destroyed their social media presence because they had the nerve to say this originated in a lab in China? Now that they're admitting, oh yeah, hey, by the way, it originated in a lab in China.
Yeah,
I
they're not
mean,
going to care.
seriously, we ruined people's lives over this.
They're
Yes,
not.
we did.
Yeah, they don't care. And
And we ruined a nation. We took a robust economy. I mean, I
Yeah,
still remember, and many people don't, but I remember that just before all this hit, the Washington Post published an article that Trump was unstoppable and unbeatable for 2020 based on the economy, the foreign policy things, victories that he had with the Abraham Accords and others. And all of a sudden, COVID hit. Fauci took over the country, and the economy tanked. People got all fearful and weird and stupid, and it just went from there.
the
And
most
that's not good.
yeah.
the most robust, well thought out, and well cited and thorough dissection of all of this is a book I read the other week by Dr. Peter Bregan, COVID-19 Global Predators, We Are the Prey. It is the most. It covers virtually everything, and if you can tackle that book, I think it's 24 hours on Audible, but it is everything. It tackles all of it, and kind of what you're saying, Ron, is well, not only is it to remove Trump, which is what Dr. Bregan lays out, but to what Joe is saying. I mean, you can't have World War III without a fucked economy. You got to have a reason to go for it, right? You can't do it if everybody's fat and happy,
Yeah,
right?
but but the analogy for World War II stops right there, because in World War II we had
A
an ever
manufacturing
grow
base.
well, manufacturing base, an industrial base, yeah, and we had a motivated population. I mean,
Yeah,
after Pearl Harbor we did, but we don't have that now. I mean, we have one tank plant in Lima, Ohio, and we
yeah,
have, yeah, it's like, guys, it takes how many years to, from keel laying of a vessel, a Navy warship, to actual commissioning of this warship? Years, years. I mean, in World War II, one of the reasons Nimitz could sacrifice or potentially sacrifice the aircraft carriers, at the Battle of Midway, and we did lose the Yorktown, and we'd previously lost the Lexington down in the Battle of the Coral Sea. So, is because he knew that there were dozens and dozens of Essex class carriers in various stages of build that were getting ready to come off
yeah.
be launched, and naval aviation cadets and Corsair aircraft and new Dauntless dive bombers and hell divers and oh my God, it's like he knew that there was a bunch of whoop ass just, okay, so we'll,
Yeah.
and Midway luckily turned out really well and made our whoop ass even more but yeah, we don't have that now.
No.
I mean, my God, it's
Even
no.
look at the recruitment base, the potential recruitment base.
Oh jeez,
It's terrible right now. Terrible.
you want fries with that?
Exactly. Wait,
Yeah,
I have to run today? Oh no.
But
well,
it's cold, it's wet. I might catch the sniffles.
it
Right.
might be that there's greater force projection with, and obviously this still comes back to, I guess the flaw in my logic would be a complete lacking of a manufacturing base. But you do have something now that you didn't have then, just to play devil's advocate, and it's drones. You can't have an idiot with blue hair as long as they can fly a drone. Like that is a different thing. Is you can just have an army. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
but
it's
if
gonna
you
fit.
think
I'm not
there's
saying it's
not
gonna
a
fit.
significant Russian or Chinese presence around Creech Air Force Base that would start to reduce the number of those blue-haired drone pilots,
Yeah,
I got bad news for you.
yeah,
And just so you know, Tommy, that it's not just Creech, which is the main location, but the Air Force has farmed out a lot of squadrons throughout the Air Force air bases that have the ability to control some drones and things like that. But yeah, it's just a matter of time, and they don't have the bandwidth at all these other air bases to control the amount of drones that we would need. So yeah, and the other thing is and this is the thing. So we talked about the blue hairs and the nose ring crowd and whatever, the X gen or whatever effing generation it is this week. But I don't know that they have the moral fiber to sit there and pilot a drone and launch a Hellfire or drop a bomb or whatever, or cruise missiles or whatever a drone will be carrying this month uh, on people. They might, at first it might be Call to Duty type of stuff, and yeah, it's a video game, but then maybe not. And now we have another issue. So
yeah,
and how do you as a warrior, advance and close with the enemy and then kill them, and if you're doing it from a comfortable trailer in air conditioned trailer in the Nevada desert or in Florida or someplace, it's not the same thing, and it might backfire on us as well because it's not real.
yeah,
It's one thing too to use drones against a third world military that is not technologically advanced
yeah.
in any way, shape, or form. It's quite another to use it against a peer or near peer competitor.
Yeah.
With
It's
air
not going to it's
defense.
not going to work the same. Yeah.
Right. With air defense, I mean, you're not going to sit there and take off some Hilux with a bunch of fighters in it there, or guys that look like they're fighters, and then you find out later, oop, party.
A ditch digging crew with shovels. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they look like long guns from here.
Yeah, I don't know. So it gets that then raises the question again. It's like,
It's actually a lesson we drove home in a scouting and patrolling class down in North Carolina last week. You want to stay alive in a unconventional conflict? Don't hold anything about 2 meters long in your hands. Right?
fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh
Um,
man, I have to keep it in my pants. What?
Shut up, Ron. That was such low hanging fruit. I'm angry that you actually swiped at it. I thought about it, played it out in
Well,
my mind, and said that's too.
Ron's nickname is low hanging fruit, if you know what I'm saying.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
testicles.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so then
Yeah.
I look at this and go, so if we're heading towards World War III, and we've all agreed that we are, and then we're walking it out one step further and going, there's no way we can fight it. We don't have the manufacturing base or the moral fabric or the fortitude to. I don't. Is that an accident? Is this throwing a
Well,
now
no,
weakened
it's
United
not.
States into a World
And
War
I'm going to
III?
put on. I'm going to ask you all to get out the tinfoil.
Hell yeah.
Okay. These people, yeah, put them on. Actually, Ron at Matt's place, at NC Scout's place, he actually has a tinfoil hat that you put on and share. It's
That's
actually kind of fun.
That's
Anyway,
awesome.
so these people, the same ones who brought us COVID and the same ones who are bringing us all these other things, climate change and all that, have said that they need to drastically reduce the world's population and almost immediately. There's literally only one way to do that, and it's the way we used to control our populations back before civilization, and that was through warfare. So, what's one way to knock a big chunk off the global population and not look like such a monster? Well, let's start a war.
Yeah.
That way, you can blame it on the other guy, and then get more and more generations killing each other for time to come, so you get to your goal. And I hate to say this, these people are not beyond that.
No, of course not. Absolutely not. So let's look then. So I guess my Clay and I were talking about this is to play devil's advocate to that. So the world's population in 1945, I think, was 2 billion or 3 billion. And total war, including like civilian deaths, right? It's estimated, I think, at the higher end of 85 million. So that's what? So 10 times that would be 850 million, 800, 1.6, 2.4. You're looking at about, that's 3% of the world population. That the World War II was only 3% of the world's population. Is that an effective
There were
goal?
only 2 atomic weapons used in World War II.
Okay, so you're bringing in the idea of, yeah, no, if you want to do that, you could knock out. Yeah, I mean, I guess in the Cold War it was, they talk, right, mega deaths, right? Dr. Strangelove, 50 million losses, an acceptable number. Like, yeah, that's a good point. I don't know, Ron.
Good thing you have a deep underground bunker.
Yeah,
Um,
not
uh,
us.
well, no, not me either. But that's a scary thing. And and the other thing I think is, I think the leadership in this country and in Western Europe are deluded. They still think they have capabilities that we had. I think, Desert Storm was sort of our peak conventional warfare capabilities. You know, the Abrams, the Apache, the A-10, all these aircraft and tanks and systems were fairly new, and we just, we went through the Iraqi army like shit through a goose, and we had the highway of death that,
Mhm.
showed, hey, this is what total war is, until Colin Powell got, oh, we can't do that anymore. People might get hurt, and we're showing, how mean we are. Well, of course, nobody asked the Kuwaitis how mean the Iraqis were to them, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's, you know, I really believe that, Joe Biden and Lloyd Austin, they're like, oh yeah, gosh, we got these carriers and we got these cool weapon systems, and I just watched Top Gun again, and we're all that in a bag of chips. No, guys. I mean, the Chinese are going to take out a carrier group. I think Jesse Kelly talks about this every so often. It says, you know, they're just going to take out a whole carrier battle group, or sorry, Joe, but a whole amphibious readiness group, and take out a Marine Corps
Mhm.
MEU, and the support vessels, and there's thousands of sailors and Marines that are gone in the blink of an eye, along with all the
Yeah, and
expensive
ARG
hardware.
is largely defenseless, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
An ARG at underway has like literally no defense. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean that. I don't think they don't have any Aegis with them or anything like that. They're just basically a bunch of Uber, you know, big Uber vehicles, because the Navy has to take the men's department to wherever the war is.
that's right. I think Ron gets it. Ron gets it.
Well, I'm all about joint.
So
No,
then,
seriously, they've been like some of the drills involve driving Avenger vehicles onto the deck because there's literally no other defenses. I mean, it'll have a CWIS or two, but that's it.
Well,
And
remember when they went on into the Persian Gulf, they had to bring that anti-drone vehicle on board and
Mhm.
lash her down, and
Yeah,
hey, look, we have an effective hodgepodge weapon system here. Hot
yeah,
dang.
wow.
what is the most realistic outcome? Say Russia, China pair together. We keep going in with Ukraine. Are they eventually going to lash out and grab Taiwan?
Well, maybe not lash out, but just blockade it,
Yeah,
quarantine it,
yeah,
and
whatever.
like say, and remember, what does Taiwan sit adjacent to? The sea lanes between Japan, South Korea, and the rest of the world. I mean, as far as north-south traffic and things like that. Yeah, I mean, we lose the Western Pacific from Hawaii westward. You know, Guam will be
Yeah.
demilitarized.
And I think that's the most likely scenario to play out, right?
And it's a damn
So
shame, because we've
yeah,
seen this coming for decades. And let's not forget, we're withdrawing all the F-15s from Kadena Air Base because they're old, although they're still pretty good aircraft, and the pilots are pretty motivated. But there's no replacement aircraft for them. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
mm,
I'm just trying to I'm just trying to remove my own emotions and biases and just try to examine it soberly. Like, then what is going to happen? So we are marching towards this.
we're going to lose.
So is it going to go global thermonuclear, or is it going to be that's the end of the world? So it's going to turn into a standoff, or is it going to turn into a redrawing of the map. China's going to take more. It's going to have a bigger hemisphere, a bigger force projection of power. Is there going to be more kind of like another Iron Curtain in Europe? Is it going to settle into that? Or is it just because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's Chinese or American. Like a thermonuclear weapon's a thermonuclear weapon, right? You only got to get one through. So I don't think it's going to go there just based on, I always look at it this way, as Tim Dillon said, they're not going to go nuclear. All these guys love eating caviar out of a horse pussy on a yacht. Like they don't want to fuck the game completely. They want to keep playing the game. So it's probably going to go just south of that. So
Well,
then what does
yeah,
that just south
you're
look
right.
like? So what does
Well,
that just south look like? A redrawing of just force projection?
Well, China could do a nuclear strike, which they've practiced on a carrier battle group,
Mm-hmm.
and then they could just say, "Okay, that's it, we're done." And if the United States retaliates in any way, shape, or form, and now it is global thermonuclear war, and now we do eradicate we exchange blows, and nothing, nobody wins.
Yeah, nobody wins.
And those our powers that be in Washington will, well, I guess we could sacrifice that, and to protect the homeland, and got to protect our voters.
I think that's probably what it's going to be. Is someone's going to throw a
I
punch,
think
and it's going to.
truthfully, though, that China's opening stroke might be a little more bold. What would distract America enough in which she could not fight? Turning off the power at home.
Oh yeah,
We're
yeah.
already on the edge of that happening naturally.
Yeah.
But if there was a cyber attack or a big enough substation attack, you could drop the grid in America, and we would be so struggling to maintain internal order and failing at it, that we would be a non-entity, and the vast majority of us would have no idea how it happened or why.
Yep, with all those military-age males coming across the border, and they sure don't look ill-fed, and
Well,
we
then
have no idea what's going on.
would we then not
I
turn
read a
off
book
the power?
about this once.
Joe, go on.
What's that?
Go on. You said you read a book about it.
Oh no, it's a joke about a
Oh.
mutual friend of ours, Mark
Oh.
Sibley. He wrote a book
Oh.
that actually posits Chinese illegal aliens being the first wave of an attack on the homeland.
Sure. So just playing devil's advocate, then it's not that hard. Would we not just, again, this kind of like another form of mutual assured destruction? Would we not just turn off their power?
We don't have that capability.
Yeah, we don't have that capability.
Then if we don't have that capability, then we would just go with whatever capability we have.
Well, the problem is I don't know enough about our offensive cyber capabilities to comment. I will just say that I don't think we have the stones to do it, because it's one of those things that once you start it has cascading effects, and we don't know where it would end, type of thing, and we don't want to have it done to us. I mean, if a combination cyber attack and unconventional warfare sabotage campaign in the United States on our electrical grid, maybe not the whole nation, but the significant parts of it, the Northeast, where major population centers are, Southern California area, that sort of thing. Okay, and then we're gonna be so busy doing that, we're not gonna. We probably won't even figure out who shot John, and things like that, and that little analyst at Fort Meade who's at Cyber Command is going to say, I got the smoking gun right here, and people will doubt him, and they will like, no, we can't do anything because we don't want to do that. I mean, there have been books written about where all this happens in the U.S. and then the U.S. turns around and takes out the Three Gorges Dam.
Yeah.
Which kills, I don't know, what do you think, Joe? Like 1 billion people, just like they go swimming. They they join the Three Gorges.
Yeah.
They join this Three Gorges swim club, and and in the book it posits that there's a moral quandary in the U.S. to do it, and the president who orders it literally through the emotional turmoil dies of a heart attack. But a lot of drama. But the thing is, we don't play well in cyber. We know I got big hammer. Me, I'm going to kill something. I got to break it. We can't be subtle.
Well, just again, devil's advocate, didn't General Nakasone try to get him on this podcast? He did not want to.
I don't blame him.
You watch yourself, Ron.
I know Nakasone. I served together with him. He's a smart fella, but he's he's still active duty, isn't
I
he?
don't blame him either. If he came on here, I'd be very, very black-pilled about the state of our security. If he just
Well,
came
he's
here.
got a lot of irons in the fire,
Sure. But he came out last summer and said that we were actively doing cyber warfare from Ukraine into Russia. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, but from Ukraine, that not us. We're just
Sure.
we're just tattling on our little Slava Ukrainians.
Yeah. So kind of wild take then. Is this just what China's going to bolster? They're going to maybe throw the first punch. They're going to nuke a carrier group, and everyone's going to go hold the fuck up. Like, where's this going? And that kind of settles into a more powerful Russo-Sino alliance in the United States with less power in the Pacific. Is this just what?
But you're already seeing that alliance form in the economic world, the BRICS alliance.
Yeah. No, but exactly. So that's the point I'm getting at. Is this just what, if you run the simulation of Earth 1,000 times, is this just what relative peace in a nuclear armed world looks like? Is this kind of how it all settles out?
Well, I think the world order is getting reordered, and we're not. We are spectators in our own emasculation.
I think too that once they get Lula fully on board, the addition of Brazil to that is something a lot of people don't realize. People think, oh, it's in South America. Well, it's the 8th largest economy in the world.
Brazil's
one of the most
huge.
populous countries in the world, largest military in South America, largest military in the Americas outside of the United States. So that's a big piece for them. And that's a huge chunk of real estate, tons of natural resources, and a great way to cut off the shipping lanes through the South Atlantic. There's a reason why South Africa and Brazil were included in BRICS, and it's location. If you have both Brazil and South Africa, you control the Southern Pacific and the Southern Atlantic because you can't go around either cape without unopposed. So I think there's a bigger shift at play. You're seeing the end of the American Empire, 100%. That's gone. It's done. You're seeing the breakdown of the Western Alliance. NATO is dead. It just hasn't died yet. I mean, to be honest.
I guess the point I was trying to make could this be different, just as a thought experiment? Could this be different than historically, where an empire wanes and a new one rises? Could this be what a multipolar world looks like in a nuclear armed world?
I actually don't think so, because here's one thing.
All right.
When Xi Jinping took power, he made a statement that he was going to reunite Taiwan with the rest of China. They have a very different morality and thought process than we do. And then he got himself appointed essentially president for life, but he's not getting any younger as the years go by. So the Taiwan question will need to be resolved one way or the other, and fairly quickly, because again, he's not a young man, and he wants that to be his legacy. Sure. Over here, we think about different things. To him, his legacy is the most important thing, and being that guy is pretty important to China. We keep track of history. 2023, they're on year 5,900 and something. So
I don't know. I'm just trying to look at it outside the box of.
You're just trying to find something hopeful.
No, not even. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna die anyway. Like what? Deep time, man. What, humanity's been around for 10,000 years, right? If the universe was a year calendar, Homo sapiens the last second of the last minute of the last hour of the last day. I don't give a shit. Whatever. It's all a philosophical game to me. I'm gonna keep wearing slippers playing video games. I don't give a fuck. It's all right. I'm good. I'm at peace with God. I love my mom, my dad.
Stick to go with those pimp slippers.
What? Oh, I should get like a leopard, maybe some rhinestones on top. Just go outside and start beating women. Yeah,
we should start wearing a robe, but like Hugh Hefner, and with an ascot, and
that's what I should do. That's what I should.
And maybe ditch the underwear.
That'll get me some sponsorships. I wonder if I can get like the opposite of canceled. If I go so toxic masculinity that someone actually supports it.
Oh, you mean like the second gentleman or the first gentleman or the second whatever his title is, the first cuck of the United States?
No, I don't know. Like if I start wearing like
making out with the first lady. I
No,
mean,
if I
but
start
whatever.
wearing like a
Oh God,
GoPro and just
no.
go out into
Well,
the,
he did. I
I
mean,
know,
I'm
but
just
gross. Gross.
it is weird.
It's like watching your great grandparents, doing it or something. Just
Hey
like
Ron, we're not judging you. Whatever you do, you did, all right? And that's what made who you are today. And I like that. Joe and I won't judge you. We might, you know, have
snicker a
words
lot.
have words in private about you and your granny fetish, but it's a safe space here. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. There might just also be like a weird kind of escape clause. Like for the first time ever, like people might just leave the planet. Like that's an odd wild card. Granted, if it goes to war
where are
soon,
they going to
we're
go?
not fucking fine now. Space, any direction. Right?
Wow.
You don't have to go to
Okay.
a planet. You can just go up. Um,
The Mars
And do what?
Congressional Republic.
I don't
There
know.
you
There
go.
might just be people leaving. Right? Now,
Okay,
granted,
John Carter of Mars.
yeah,
Excellent.
you can
Yeah.
go. I don't care. Um, but that does again. That's just another odd variable in this. Is now if war comes in the next year or two, it's not going to happen. If they can somehow postpone it, and it becomes, I guess, SpaceX becomes more mature, you might just have people leaving. Like I don't know. I'm not invested in any of this. I don't give a shit. I'm just playing out like every option as a game.
Well,
Like,
let's
good to
just
go.
think about it. So, the initial philosophy of leaving the Earth, breaking Earth's gravitational pull, is pretty intense.
Mhm.
And these people can't even pass basic Army training
I'm
or
not
anything like that.
not
And
talking about them.
there's going to be a bunch of corpses sitting in the SpaceX passenger rockets, because their hearts are going to fail or their whatever. So yeah, forget it.
I'm not talking about
That's
the useful. No, fuck them. I'm not talking about the useful idiots. They're gonna be put up against the wall by their own people. Whatever.
Tommy, I want to talk to you about these condos I've been selling. They're on the far side of Mars, but they're in a good spot. There's no train tracks, great schools.
Tell me
You got
more.
to pay cash, though.
Okay.
You got to pay cash.
Okay. You have pictures of them?
$500,000, bro. $500,000 cash, and I got you. You're the first guy in the subdivision.
Oh, fucking lucky me. Do you have a rocket ship called the Lolita Express?
No.
That's an Epstein. That's an Epstein Island joke. It's a pedophile
No,
joke.
Mine is called the Scalia Express.
Ooh.
So.
All right. Well,
yeah. It's powered by Gretchen Whitmer.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Little black
Sorry.
magic going on there.
now,
Talk about things you don't want to go to sleep thinking about. Whew.
Ron, is there any way you can get us into Site R and maybe we just go live out the rest of our lives a mile under granite doing shitty podcasts every day, and the remainder of people living in the world that have access to a radio will kill themselves so they don't have to listen to another day of us bantering?
No, I can't get you into Site R.
Damn it. Well, that's all I got. That would be the best, though. Just turn
Actually,
on
it
radio.
wouldn't.
No. Just some survivor has somehow evaded a thermonuclear holocaust, and they're living off like irradiated deer meat, and they find a radio, and they just go insane because every day it's just us three talking and making shitty jokes that they just hang themselves.
Like a bad sequel to On the Beach.
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a movie. Gregory Peck, Ava Gardner, Fred Astaire.
I'm so
You were seriously culturally deprived. Look it up.
Yeah, I wasn't joking when I told you I am not invested like in this like reality. I'm kind of just doing my own thing, going to my own. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I'm just observing it from the great skybox. Well, I don't know. Seems like everything's fucked, but I guess that's the same conclusion we've been reaching. So I don't know what anybody was expecting who was watching this. It's all
So
fucked.
this is our last show. Good. Okay, fine.
No, we'll
done.
do another one. We're gonna keep like we are on the it's fucked. That's our beat. That's our niche. We can't have world peace because then we won't have podcasts to do. All right. This is the
We have to
podcast
learn about something else, right?
this
We
is
have
the
to actually learn
podcast
some skills.
industrial complex. We need it to be
God.
constant apocalypse, or we have nothing to talk about. We're not going to talk about utopia and free flowing borders and fusion energy. That's gay. We need an impending hellscape. That's the only thing that keeps this show going. We are directly invested in this world going to hell.
We should actually consider a podcast about these morons who believe that farming is the greatest
God.
risk of climate change,
I
and that we
saw
need to
that.
stop farming right away.
I saw that.
I have no idea what they intend to eat, but
Well, the way that guy was standing with his legs crossed, I imagine they'll eat each other.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, I think he already has a time or two. Anyway,
well, if you do want to survive,
We'll give
I
him
would
the
go-
cookbook to serve man.
nice. If you do want to survive, go into the description, go grab Joe Dolio's books about tactical wisdom. If you
Please
don't
do.
want to survive, I don't know. Keep listening to this podcast. You have best of both worlds. You can read tactical wisdom. while
Ron's
listening to
property
us.
without permission, then you won't survive.
No,
That's
that's all
it.
right.
That's assisted suicide. Ron provides euthanasia. You just have to walk onto his property.
You will be violated, plundered, and killed, and not in that order.
Not
Joe
necessarily.
is always welcome. Joe and his brood are always welcome here.
What happens if I
Yeah.
walk onto your property, Ron? Are you gonna kill me?
Well, yeah, because bunny slippers in South Dakota, dude.
That's
You're
not gonna
dead.
fly.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's a Minnesota thing. You're out.
All right, fair enough. Whatever. Anyway, gentlemen, let's wrap this one up. I got another one coming up. I gotta run. Mr. Joe Dolio, Mr. Ron Moeller. Go in the description. Follow him on Twitter for all of our cheerful, optimistic news. Go buy Joe's books. Just give him money. Just give Joe money. Look at that face. Just give him some money.
Yeah, just give him money.
Just give him. Don't even buy the books. Just fucking give him money. Fuck the books. Just send him money. Just send him money and write handwritten on the dollar bill, just like to daddy, and just send it to Joe. That's the only way you're getting out of this world alive. Is
Make sure you fold the bill this way.
Yeah.
It's just say Poppy, not Daddy.
To Papi Dolio. Yeah. Well, with that, gentlemen, thank you so much. Till next time, take care, everybody. God bless.